Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. JC here with another video on Action Taimanin. Today, we're going to check the character limited weapon and supporter for Maika. But before we start, don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Also, comment on what you want to see next and what other kind of uses you find for this supporter. So I really wanted to do this before the character pack release, but unfortunately I was kind of sick, so I couldn't do the video earlier because there's been people saying that this supporter and weapon are bad, and I understand why they think they're bad. So let's analyze the weapon. I'm gonna use mine because mine are 5 out of 5. I use a little bit of Demonite, but that's fine. So it says passive increases critical rate of incendiary round by 30%. For those who do not know, incendiary round is going to be the all green skill. This skill is really good that it receives critical rate increase. Why? Because it is one of those rare greens that has a huge, and I mean huge, damage increase, critical damage increase. So that's great. It's amazing. It's probably one of the best damage dealing skills that Maika has. So this weapon basically allows her to guarantee crit with that skill. That's amazing. I know, 30% is not that much, but you also add the stats of the weapon, then you add any other critical rate thanks to Magatamas if you go with crit Magatamas or with supporters, and you're going to crit. I'm even critting on VR, just so that you know. And not the low steps. I'm on step 50 and I'm critting, so yeah. It is a thing, it is possible. And then it also has an active. Important thing here is that it requires only 3 particles. That's really good. So, resets the cooldown time of incendiary rounds immediately. After that, particle charge for attack is reduced by 1% for 5 seconds, stack up to 3 times. So, unfortunately, you're gonna get a particle reduction. Particle charge reduction, yeah, but it is negligible. It's just 1%. So what happens here? You are going to use your incendiary round, you use the active, and then you use it again, dealing a huge amount of damage. That's great. With just 2 of those, you may be able to kill the enemy. But it's not only that. One of the worst effects that you can have in VR is when they hit you and they increase your cooldown for your skills. Well, this solves that problem. You're going to be able to reset the cooldown of your incendiary rounds even if they increase it. That's super good. Now, this attack is pretty strong, but mainly because of the critical. The other effect that reduces the defense is pretty good too. And the damage over time is also pretty good. Here we cannot see the damage over time, but there would be fire on the ground if we use 1 green. So it is an excellent weapon that synergizes well. It already deals an absurd amount of damage. So the fact that it just gives critical rate, it's pretty good. Unfortunately, it's only for that specific skill, but the weapon is for that skill and it synergizes perfectly with it. So, can you crit on VR? Yes, you can. But there's a thing that you should keep in mind. Even though you can crit in VR with this weapon, you are going to do better if you go with a Taimanin who has an anti-trade weapon like Astaroth. Right now we have anti-demon. We have demons, so you want to use this weapon. Or you want to use... who else? Yes, Shiranui. You want to use Shiranui with this weapon. So, there are better characters for those jobs. Uh, Creating, even though you can, it isn't that impactful, in my opinion, to justify using this on VR. But in any other kind of content, this is busted because you're basically guaranteeing that you're going to crit with your skill. So you can go instead of critical rate, you can go full critical damage. You can use, let's say, Akane, you can use Kaoru, and you can use whatever else you want that increases your damage. Let's see. Something, yeah, Nano. You can go those three, and you're going to crit and you're going to melt the enemy. So it is pretty good, but we need more content where we can reliably use this. Now let's go with the supporter. Let's see. The supporter, here we have it, Maika. Maika. So, it is a mixture of good and bad. People think that, well, some thought that this was meant for the ulti builds, and that's not it. This supporter is meant to be used on weapons which have low cost or have particle charge, have low active cost or increased particle charge. So it says increased particle charge for one from attacks by 100%. That's good, but not busted. We have Ingrid. I'm going to put Ingrid to compare her. So Ingrid. Where are you, Ingrid? On top, right? No. Ingrid, there we go. We have Ingrid. What does Ingrid do? Ingrid is going to give us 165% particle charge, and it's going to also give us damage on the weapon skill. This weapon doesn't have a weapon skill or weapon active that deals damage, so I'm missing that part, but I wouldn't care. The thing is, she's red, so she doesn't synergize with this skill because you want to use Maika on grid. So unfortunately, Maika is having trouble to perform properly with this supporter because we lack another one that can increase particle charge and isn't this thing. Around this, it should be between 150 and 200% to be viable. If we have another green supporter with that amount of particle charge increase, then Maika is going to become really busted. But until then, we're gonna have to deal with the fact that Maika hasn't unlocked her true potential with this supporter and weapon. So this amount is just what we need. But unfortunately, I'm not going to use it with Maika, but other characters can use it. When particles are fully charged, damage dealt increases by 10% for 20 seconds, stack up to 5 times. 20 seconds? I thought it was 10 seconds. That's why it lasts so long. Great. So, let me explain, guys. What do you want to do with this? You want to reach max charge, use your active, and attack more to recharge your particle, and then you're going to use your active again, recharge particle, active again, recharge particle. That's the way you want to do it. And that way you're going to have a 50% damage increase at max. There are some characters who can abuse this easily, and I mean really easily. Kurenai and Sora are the ones. Maika, as I mentioned, cannot because she cannot use, or she doesn't want to use. She can use, but she doesn't want to use this because she's going to miss the critical damage increase. So she needs another supporter with between 150 and 200 particle charge increase. That is green. With that, she's gonna be busted. So, other than that, it says protective ally character's critical rate is increased by 12%. So if you have it in the main, this is also going to help you with your critical rate. That's also pretty good. And that's part of the reason why I'm able to consistently crit on VR. I'm going to show that in this video, but let's go with the active. The active is amazingly good. I mean, it seems like unimpressive at first, but when you think of how to use it, it is pretty good for what this supporter is meant to do. So you want to use it on actives, on weapon actives that have low cost. So obviously you're going to recharge your particles. You deal damage to the nearby enemies and restore 20% of all particles. But the attack also recharges particles. So you're not going to recharge 20%. You're going to recharge a little bit more than that. Maybe 3 particles, maybe even more depending on the amount of enemies. But this is particularly good against enemies which are not ranged, with melee enemies. Because, for example, I was testing this on Queen Arachne, and the enemies here are the spiders. So unfortunately, enemy info I don't have. The spiders, let me go to these spiders. Queen Arachne. Where are you, Queen Arachne? Aha, Queen Arachne. But I don't have it here. The spider should be around somewhere. Aha. I don't remember if those are the spiders, but yeah, let's say that these are. The spiders do range attacks, unfortunately. I think they have melee attacks, but mainly they do this attack which launches some kind of fire, some kind of goo, and they don't get near you. So that's a problem. You want enemies to get near you. And for the most part, that's the enemies on VR. There's a couple enemies. Let's see. A couple of these on the machine. But mainly there are these enemies which do fire with their guns. So it is unfortunate that VR doesn't have this supporter doesn't have the AoE that works on VR. The enemies won't get near you, so you won't get the most particle charge that you can. But I'm going to give an example on tower, because on tower, in this one, we have these enemies, and most of these enemies are melee. Only Yukikaze is not. So they get around you, or you're gonna see that I charge more particles. So back to Maika. Yeah, it is a decent supporter, and it is very good that we receive this kind of supporter because it's another piece to the weapon active strategies. The weapon active have been neglected, or they haven't been like very popular, but this is going to allow them to have another piece in their repertoire to be viable. So we're gonna start by testing Maika. Unfortunately, this is just too busted, so I'll do it here, but this is gonna be like super quick. Unfortunately, it is just too busted because she's too strong. I mean, 5 out of 5, 5 out of 5, plus 13 both, anti-demon, wind, incendiary rounds, pile fire, flare, ruthless explosion. Another thing before we start, Maika wants to be using. Usually you would want this because of the particle charge, but Maika is already pretty slow, so that's not a great idea. And you don't want to use which one? The dash attack. Yeah, this we do not want to use. We want to use carpet bombing and ruthless explosion. We want to use carpet bombing and ruthless explosion because of the AoE. The AoE is going to allow you to multi-hit enemies with these two skills, and in turn you're going to be able to charge your particles faster. Unfortunately, it's not fast enough. We really, really, really need a supporter who can increase particle charge that is green and is not the SR Gremory. Gremory, please. We need an F2P supporter that increases particle charge. Maybe 20% damage increase, like generic and particle charge, like 150 particle charge. At least, please, Gremory. Well, let's test it. Did I show you the... okay, I'll check it at the end. So very quickly, I'm just going to do this to increase my particles. And as you can see, she crits. She crits. Guaranteed. Ruthless explosion. Okay. So I'm just going to let them do this, and I do this, I do the active, and I repeat, and they are dead. Unfortunately, I'm just too strong to actually use the supporter effectively, and also I also need that particle charge increase that I don't have, because Maika is just missing some particle charge with green. So these are the supporters. As you can see, I go full crit because I can. I guarantee crit thanks to the weapon effect, the weapon stats, the supporter passive. So there's a ton of things that allow me to crit guaranteed. That's why I go full crit. I'm going to do something else. I'm going to show you very quickly the comparison. Just at the start, I'm going to use, look, 20% charge, okay? Now, I'm going to repeat that, but I'm going to get near the enemies. I'm going to get surrounded by them, and then I'm going to use the active. So that was 2 particles compared to... Come on. Oh, no. Okay. Let's see. No, that didn't work. I thought that it gave more. I swear that I saw it giving me more. Or maybe I think that it has to do with... Well, it did. It did give me more, as you can see. Not that much, but this is going to, if I'm not mistaken, it stacks with something. It stacks with particle charge increase. So if you have particle charge increase, that's going to work. Another thing that you can do is that you can use, let's see, I don't think Momochi Nagi. I think Astaroth. Let's see. No. Noah. Yeah. You can use your snake weapons to increase your particle charge, and that's gonna be awesome. Unfortunately, the active isn't like the most busted thing, but it has a good amount of multi-hits, so it can actually recharge itself pretty well. So, as I mentioned, there are many weapons that you want to use. But first, before we continue, we're going to be doing this. I was using... Yeah, let's see. I'm going to check this. No, it doesn't have the... Okay. I'm gonna do 2 runs, why not? So, I am using Shizuru just as a means to reduce the enemy's defense with all of this. And she has HP recovery, and a little bit of defense. I really need this to be tankier because Shizuru is well, you know Shizuru. She is a little bit fragile. Then I have Tank Felicia, full anti-demon. And she's gonna go with Bloodsight, with Evil Strange, Vampiric Zone, these two to recover everyone else. And here are the supporters, 5 out of 5, everything. And the last one is gonna be Maika, who has the weapon, the Magatamas. Let's see. A carpet bombing, ruthless explosion, yes, to increase that particle charge. And here we are going to crit on VR. That's the thing. We can crit on VR, yes. This would be like 100%. Let's see. This is 30. This is almost 30. I'm going to reduce 4 to my... that's... Let's say that it's 30. 30, 30, 72. And... this is 100% on incendiary round. So 72% critical rate normally. Plus the... on incendiary round is even more. But we reduce 4 because of this. So, yeah. We subtract 4. So, yeah, it's like 90 something percent critical rate on incendiary round. It is almost guaranteed to crit. But that's not how it works. Even though I say it is almost guaranteed. There, I don't know the specifics of it, but it's basically guaranteed on any other kind of content. The disadvantage about using this is that I'm missing damage. So let's check it. I'll do it on step 50. Oh, look guys, I was the first here on this one and this one. Nice. That doesn't happen often. I never do that, do VR early, but I really wanted to test Maika. So, triple damage reduction. Okay, so we go back and we crit. We crit it. We just crit it. Carpet bombing, ruthless explosion, incendiary round. Yeah. Ruthless explosion. Incendiary. That's a thing. You have to be like very careful on how you use your incendiary rounds, because you can miss it. The timing has to be just right. Good thing that the Maika's supporter attack increase lasts like 20 seconds. It really gives a good amount of time for you to recharge your particles. Another thing, this effect is pretty dangerous for this strategy. So be careful. The skill cooldown increase isn't as dangerous, but the particle charge reduction is dangerous. Oh, come on. I need to take that out of the way, and these and these and these. Yeah, we are critting, guys. We are critting. Not a common thing for that to happen in VR, but it is a thing. But as I mentioned, we are not sacrificing. We are well, we exchange damage for critical rate, so it is not the best idea to do this. It is just a thing. It is more a meme than anything. So, yeah, it is okay to do it if you wanted to, but obviously the best thing to do always is to go for the specific character who have a weapon for that kind of enemy. So I'm going to use Ruthless, then Incendiary Round. then active, then incendiary round, then active of the supporter, damage increase, ruthless, incendiary round, active of the weapon, incendiary round, and that's it. As you can see, it is viable to use this, although it is not the strongest, because, well, obviously we are giving up part of the damage for the critical rate. but, what is the advantage of this? That this skill already has critical damage increase. So, if you go pure, at least you're taking advantage of that. So, yeah, that's pretty good. But now, let's go with something more realistic, or the reason why you really want that supporter. There are, as I mentioned, some characters which synergize super well with it. We're gonna start with not the best one, but one that I have, and it's going to be Sue. For Sue, I have two builds, I think. Yeah. First, I wanted to go pure, and I use Momoko. Yeah. Unfortunately, this is not enough. I don't have her enchanted, so it is problematic. But why am I using this? Because I can gain super armor and then I can do my basics to increase my particle charge. Another important thing, usually, not for Maika, but usually, you want to use the basic enhancer along with the supporter so that you can increase the amount of particles that you get, so that you can keep using your active and you keep reaching the maximum amount of particles to increase your attack with the supporter. I'm going to use this to gather the enemies, this to increase my particles, and this to gain super armor. So it works. And obviously the weapon. What is the weapon here? On Identify Knuckle X. So this increases my speed for 7 seconds whenever you use a skill. That's good. But the important part here are the consecutive attacks on three particles. That's super good. And that's why it's viable to use Momoko. Because I don't need that much particle increase. I do need more, but Momoko is enough for this weapon. So let's test it. Maybe I die, guys, just so that you know. I mean, it is Sue. I awaken her so that I would get the damage reduction, but even so, it's still like she doesn't have a lot of HP. My Ingrid is not enchanted. There's many things to take into consideration. Okay, like that. That's great, that's great, that's great. Okay, great, excellent. I didn't reach the particle charge limit. So 1, 2, 3. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Almost, almost. And there we go. Now I start with this, and I also use the active, and I do it again. And I have 2 charges, and I do this. I don't think I'm not going to be able to. So I'll have to use the active again and again. And I already killed one. And I use the active again. It is pretty good, but difficult to use. For what it is right now. Because we're missing more green supports that can increase particle charge. That's about it. So, Gremory, please give us an F2P supporter that is green, that increases particle charge by 200% and has some other effect. I was thinking about like another Lefria that also has 100% particle charge increase. That would be nice because Lefria is usable, yet not the best, and it could be better. But I don't think 100% is just enough for Maika. I think that we really need to hit that 200 or 150. So yeah, that is one option. The other option is to use your Ingrits. Ingrid is gonna make this so much easier. So I'm using kind of the same, but I decided to go with Senrenka, and I still have this for the super armor and this for the particle charge increase. So you're gonna see that this is way easier to charge the particles and do the active. So yeah, if you like Su, like those attacks, it is a very viable strategy. There we go. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, I use the active and I start using. There, I use the active again and I have 20% damage increase. Oh, come on. There. I use the active, I have 30% damage increase. I use the active, 40% damage increase. 50% damage increase. And now I just have to keep it. Like that. Oh my god, oh, keep it. There. So it is viable, very, very viable. Just that people were a little bit confused about what to do with it. Okay, I'm just going to use it since I just finished. Yeah, a pretty good supporter if you know what to do with it. So I really hope that Cremory decides to keep going with weapons, because there's many ways to play. You can go full skills, you can go full basics, you can go mix, you can go with weapon actives, you can do a bunch of things. The more variety we have, the better. So let's see. I'm checking Su and Kurenai. Let's go with Kurenai. Kurenai is one of the best for this, because she has two great weapons that can use this. First of all, we're gonna go with obviously Dine's Life. This thing, I don't know how to pronounce this, but you have to be careful. You can activate this skill twice, and you're gonna consume all your particles. So just be sure that you don't push the button twice. This consumes 5 particles. It is a bit much, but she can easily regain those particles by attacking while the active is in effect. So another thing, we're gonna use God's Eye just as a means to help do the basic quicker. But I could go with the basic enhancer. I don't like to go with the basic enhancer because Kurenai gets interrupted easily. You could also use Howling Wind, but I don't like it. It doesn't charge enough particles. So instead we're gonna go with Red Stormfang that really charges particles. It's super good. And Deflecting Wind, of course, to recover HP just in case. And the supporters, of course, these two, and Shirayuki just to increase damage. You're gonna see that this is Kurenai is one of the best ones to use the active, but Sora is definitely better. Unbelievably, she's just busted with the weapon for an weapon active strategy. That's what I mean. Like, it's not that she isn't good in general. It's just that these make her super busted for that specific niche. Okay, there we go. Nice. Almost and done. Now I want to use the active, and also I want to use this, and while I attack I want to use the active again. And the tornado. Where is my tornado? Where did it go? Okay, come on. Hurry up. I'll use the active. Whatever. I'll use the active of the supporter. So another time. Active. Come on. And this. Oh, come on. Get near. Yeah. And now I have the 50% damage increase, as you can see. Great. So obviously Kurenai is... Oh, I used it just before. So I'm going to lose the stacks, but you be careful with that. So it is excellent that we have more ways to use weapon actives. I really like that. Even though we still have more, we still need more in regards of weapon and supporters. It is an option. It is something that we just added to our roster. So now we're gonna use Sora, as I mentioned, one of the best. And I'm missing. I'm going to write that down. Rin. We're missing Rin too. So for Sora, we're gonna be using the same. The only difference here is that I'm using Sora. It's not maxed out, but it works. It helps her out with damage. You can substitute this with whatever you want, depending on what you're going for. For critical rate, you can go for damage, critical damage. So yeah. For this, we're gonna use the basic enhancer, because this is going to increase both particle charge and attack speed, and that combo is deadly. We're also going to use Foxfire because it increases the speed and it also increases the amount of hits that I do. So that's great. And we're using this because it has a good amount of multi-hits. And it becomes even better on green, on a green main. So it's going to charge the skills. And for weapons, we're going to use the only one that I have. We're going to use Freykugel. SMT vibes. Okay, so Freykugel Samael. So this has particle charge increase. That's why it's super good. Let's see. I guess at max is 80% particle charge increase. And it deals, it just has an attack, whatever attack on the active. But that doesn't matter. What matters is that you're going to abuse it. And I mean really abuse it. I also awakened her just to get the defense increase, because if not, she was going to die in this test. So super important, you evade and you do basics and the skill, and that's it. The first thing that you have to do is evade. Then I do the dash, and look at the amount of particles that I just charged. It's amazing. She's just made for this. Yeah. Another active. Another active. Come on. Another active. And I already have the 50% increase. This weapon isn't even maxed out. It's 3 out of 5. And look at just how good it is for this strategy. This supporter relies heavily on what kind of builds you can do, how can you increase your particle charge, and the weapons that you have. It is not a bad supporter. It is a niche, and I mean very niche supporter. When it hits the niche, it's pretty good. So yeah, I do this, I increase, I do it again. Yeah, just amazing how good this is. The having the 50% damage increase active all the time is great. Okay, another one. Another one. Another one. I just keep using the active, my god. Sora is the strongest one for this. Uh-huh. Another one. Active, active, and active. Yeah. It is nice, but it is niche. There are things that are easier to use that give you that 50% increase on even more, especially on green. For example, who? Astaroth Dark Sun is way easier to use. Sora is way easier to use, and it gives you more. This gives you 80% at max. This also gives you 80% at max. While this one is only going to give you 50% at max. But it helps you with critical rate. So, yeah, it is not bad. This is just a niche. And now, the last one with Rin. I mean, there may be more options. I didn't analyze like every single detail, and it would take like a lot of time. Rinko, I think, with the blue weapon is also a good option. I don't know for sure, but here we're going to be using a mixture. Unfortunately, you would normally want to go pure green, but as I mentioned, we don't have great options for this right now. We don't have enough particle charge. So I'm going to sacrifice the critical rate. I'm going to give up the critical rate in exchange for the particle charge of Ingrid. As you can see, these are the supporters. And to compensate, I'm going to use Ruga. So Chain Bolt, because we're going to use the weapon. The weapon is going to give more damage to Chain Bolt. And that's about it. It doesn't do anything other than that. But it has a 3 particle cost, so it is really abusable with this supporter. And with Chain Bolt, you're gonna charge a ton of particles. A ton, I mean it. So we use Chain Bolt. We also use Taimanin art because of the particle charge increase, but you could also go with Bolt Rush. Honestly, the bigger the area of effect and the more multi-hit it has, the better. And I'm using Volt Spin for recovery, but you can change it if you want. You can go with these two at the same time, along with Chain Bolt, or maybe you can go with Denki, depending on what you want. But, I mean, having HP restoration is important. So, let's test this last one, so that we can finish with the video. It's incredible how good this is, if you use it properly. So we start by doing a little bit of this to charge. And you just saw how much that charge. Okay, there. I use the active and I use this. Okay, I'll have to use this. I use the active again. And I use this. I use the active again. And I use this. Come on, come on, come on, come on. A little bit more. There. Come on. Now I need you to... Active. And there we go. Nice. We already have the damage increase at max. Oh, come on. There. Okay. I am just abusing Chain Bolt. That's about it. Okay, so... Okay. Oh, okay. I'll have to do this to keep the... Oh my god, no, 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 no. Come on, a little bit more. Give me more. Particle charge. There. Okay, I just use the active and I got interrupted, but I can do it. And I can keep that effect up. Weapon, chain bolt, damage. Active, chain bolt, damage. Nice. Pretty good. As you can see, it is not bad. It's just niche. I just said that like 3 times already. So yeah, do I recommend you to roll on it? That really depends. If you are a weapon active enthusiast, yes, that's a good idea. If you are not too fond about weapon actives, then I suggest you skip it. Also, though it synergizes very well with the weapon, the supporter is just not enough. We really need another green supporter that increases particle charge. If we don't have that, and I don't mean Momo, uh, here, Momoko. Yeah, Momoko is just not enough. 50% particle charge increase is not what we want. So Gremory, please think on doing that F2P supporter for an event that increases particle charge, or and also think about re-releasing Ingrid. We, especially with this, people are going to need more copies of Ingrid, and new players will need the Ingrid, this Ingrid. So yeah, what do you think about the supporter, guys? Was it impressive? Was it not? And also the weapon. I know it's kind of underwhelming seeing that. My God, reduces by wow. When it's 5 out of 5, no, I don't know if it's 5 out of 5 or max out, but the demerit is like nothing. So well, the weapon is good, but not that impressive on BR because there are better ways to deal damage. So yeah, that's gonna be it for today, and I'll be seeing you next time. Bye!